folks. Why Would You Ask That is a podcast that answers some of the weirdest questions. A lot of those are inappropriate for some listeners. If you're squeamish, easily disturbed, or just having a bad day, this may not be for you. But if you've got to know the answers like we do, stay tuned.
Why Would You Ask That? Presented by me, they, them, and
Karen, she, her.
Remy, he, him.
And today we ask, can you eat maggots? And I think the answer is fucking yes, you can. It's disgusting, but probably delicious in some people's eyes. Yes. Is that the answer? Yes?
Very short answer is, yeah, we can eat maggots. Is that it? Is this podcast over?
Turn off the recording.
I mean, that doesn't surprise me that you can. I mean, I'm sure that some people have done it, and I mean, it's abhorrent to the Western culture, certainly. But are there...
I'm sure lots of people do it on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot of people that eat maggots on purpose. You can eat maggots, but there are specific problems that come with eating any insect, but maggots specifically have their own problems. First off, there are parts of the world where maggot eating is considered a delicacy, and people specifically put maggots into products on purpose so that they can eat them living.
Oh.
You heard of this?
Like alive?
Yes, like alive.
Oh my God. Okay, you said specific bug things, and I'm just going to throw a wild guess into the ring. Are they high in cholesterol?
You know, I don't think so.
Okay. I don't know why I thought that. I was like, I feel like they'd be salty and high in cholesterol, but maybe not.
Where would the salt come from?
In bugs? I don't know. I just imagine the bugs are salty.
I've never eaten a salty bug.
Well, I've never eaten a bug.
We should buy some bugs to eat.
Oh, that's okay.
No, I'm gonna look it up. We're gonna get some bugs to eat. Sorry, y'all.
So, okay, so they put live maggots into foods and then eat the foods because there are live maggots in them.
Yeah, so in some places, this is considered a delicacy. Specifically, there's the Sardinian casu marzu cheese, maggot cheese, which I think plenty of people have heard of that one, but probably not by that name. I think people just call it maggot cheese. I actually just watched a movie that had this cheese in it, weirdly enough. We were preparing to do this episode the other night while I was watching my midnight horror movie, I just watched a movie with this cheese in it.
Was the cheese part of the horror?
The cheese was meant to make you feel uncomfortable within the first 3 minutes of the movie.
Oh, well, they nailed it.
The movie is called The Body, and it's on Hulu.
The Body. What's it about?
It's actually it's a comedy horror movie about an assassin who only kills people on Halloween, so he doesn't have to hide the body.
Oh.
He just wraps them up in in clear plastic tarp and drags them down the street.
Oh my gosh.
And then everybody on the street's like, nice body, guy. That's a good costume.
What's this called again? I'm writing it down.
The Body.
The Body.
It's called The Body. It's on Hulu. It's good. It's comedy horror, so it's not really scary.
I like that.
I'm into it.
And it has maggot cheese in it. So
I'm so into this.
So this casu marzu, the way that this is done is cheesemakers initiate the process by cutting a small hole in a wheel of sheep's milk cheese and leaving it outside. And then the flies will slip in through the opening and lay their eggs in there. After the larvae hatch, their excretions break down the cheese's fats and proteins and create a soft, creamy texture. And then when the gooey liquid known as lagrimus leaks through the rind, it's ready to eat. And the resulting cheese is pungent and sharp, and apparently is a bit like ripe gorgonzola with an acidic twang left in the larva's wake. So you are supposed to eat it when the maggots are still alive, because if the maggots are dead, then that means that the cheese is bad. But you have to close your eyes when you're eating it, because if you startle the maggots, they will jump. And they can jump a few inches. So protect your eyes when you're unsealing the cheese from its... Yeah, cover your nose and your eyes when you're unsealing the cheese so the maggots don't jump in there.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
It's terrible.
Oh my god, what happens if you get a maggot in your eye? Like,
You cry.
Will crying get the bug out? I've had a bug in my eye for like a whole week once, and I didn't even notice.
Oh my god.
It was dead. It died after it got into my eye, but
oh no.
It was a gnat.
That's terrible.
It was very uncomfortable. Like, we were just learning that I had allergies, so we all thought it was just allergies. But what really happened was I took this path home that cut through a bunch of like the areas between yards, so it's like unmowed, and like when you walk through all the grasses, the gnats would just whoosh out of the grass. You know how it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then like I got something in my eye, and I went, oh my gosh, in my tiny child voice, and I rubbed my eye real quick, and then I was like, well, okay, I guess it's done. But then no, it just kept bothering me for a whole week, and then I would rub it and rub it and rub it, and it wasn't until I finally like got my finger all up in there and I pulled out a gnat.
That's awful.
And it was super dead.
It's like an episode of Monsters Inside Me.
Except it was a gnat, and it was just trapped between my eyelid and my eyeball. Honestly, I'll take that over the time I stepped in a tick bomb.
Yeah. Bugs. Listen, I can deal with a lot of weird, gross things, but bugs are not something I can deal with. I don't like bugs. They freak me out, man.
This episode's going to be rough for you.
Yeah, I knew that going in. I was like, oh, we're going to talk about maggots. So
I'm currently looking up edible bugs.
You can buy mealworms on Amazon, and you can eat those. That's the best ones for human consumption. I've already done the TikToks on insect eating. Those are the best ones. Fry them in the pan just as they are dead, and you put some soy sauce in there, and you can just eat those in like a stir fry.
Nice. I would also like to submit that I am just looking up the phrase edible bugs on Amazon, and one of the things that came up was Oreos, Chips Ahoy, and Nutter Butters.
Okay.
Well, I mean, we have to expect that there will be bugs in the food making process. So
I'm going to talk about that later.
Oh, great.
They also have like popping boba in here and jerky next to like Don Baguitos.
Huh.
Yes.
Don Baguitos.
Baguitos. I'm gonna buy flour brownie mix.
Cricket flour brownie mix.
Yes, so I imagine if I get a whole ass thing of bug with like a whole bug in there, you'll be like, ugh. But if it's a brownie,
yeah, yeah, I'd eat that.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's always talked about bugs as an alternative to a lot of things for a very long time.
Yeah, entomophagy is sustainable and all that shit, but also I don't like all them little legs and the head parts and the tiny hairs. Not a fan. And bugs, you just kind of eat them whole. I mean, you could take bits off of it, but
it's very fiddly. I couldn't do that.
I'm looking for bugs without the legs on them, but also I'm not a fan of worms
or grubs.
I mean, I could probably do worms.
I'm going to try ants or crickets, but those still have legs. But you might try those. Those are also good for human consumption.
What about those chocolate-covered ants? I'm going to look for that. There's a whole ass bag of giant water bugs, by the way. Not a fan. Please go on.
Okay.
Maggots jumping out of cheese and crawling into your eyeballs. What's next?
Okay. So the issue with eating this cheese is that there are issues with eating live maggots, but you can't buy the cheese when the maggots are dead because that's the sign the cheese has gone bad. So the solution for most people is, if you don't want to take the risk and eat the live maggots, I think most people will just flick the maggots off and then squish them to death.
Probably a good idea.
Or, according to my research, a lot of people will actually just squish the maggots to death on the cheese.
No.
And then eat the cheese with the maggots on there, because part of the delicacy of the cheese is eating the maggots.
Oh my god.
And then the other solution that I saw that I was like, clever, was to take a slice of the cheese, throw it into a Ziploc bag, and then wait until the maggot suffocates, and then eat it.
Well,
for some reason, it just seemed weird, the idea that a maggot could suffocate, but also that's how you get, like, what are those really big, like, botfly maggots out of your bodies to start suffocating them? Yes.
I should not have looked up pictures.
Oh.
Botflies?
This is the maggot cheese. This is impacting my mental health. This is disgusting. No, it's fine. I'm just like, oh no.
Oh dear. Oh my. Oh god. Oh Jesus. The more I look, the worse it is. Oh god, people. Oh god.
Whew.
So despite the fact that over here in the US and in Europe, insects and maggots elicit this kind of visceral response in us, they are a really viable source of protein and good fats and trace elements, and there aren't really a lot of risks to eating maggots as far as what they contain in their body for us, like proteins and stuff wise. But what the problem with eating maggots, and this is going to get really gross, Karen and M and listeners, fair warning.
Oh, it can't be as bad as scooping out, like, your pussy yeast to put...
That's one thing. That's not alive. A maggot that you consume is alive.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, so first, a problem with eating maggots, like in the maggot cheese, when you're eating them, like, living, is something called myiasis, which is an infection that occurs when maggots infest and feed on the living tissue of animals or humans. So if a maggot jumped out of the cheese up your nose or in your eyeball and you couldn't get it back out, or if you ate it and it got in your mouth and it burrowed into your gums or something, this is the problem that you would have. People who have difficulty maintaining good oral hygiene are particularly at risk. Larvae can settle into areas of the mouth where the hygiene is poor, and you can get this condition. Eating maggots is also thought to leave your internal organs and tissues susceptible to the larva, although myiasis is more commonly something that occurs under the skin and not in your organs. The maggots that cause myiasis can live in the stomach and intestines as well as the mouth. And this can cause serious tissue damage and requires, like, serious medical attention. And that's why you shouldn't eat living maggots, because they can burrow in there. And I'm done with that awful portion.
Oh my god, it's not worse than turning into flies. Like, if a maggot turned into a fly inside of my body, that would be a huge... if it burrows in there, isn't that what it's, like, doing? It's, like, trying to turn into a fly?
What it's doing when it burrows in there is it's consuming the tissue, and the enzymes it's secreting is decomposing the tissues.
Okay.
So it's eating you before it becomes a fly.
Yes, so it's the worst case scenario, guys. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's what moth flies do.
Oh my god, I knew that, but also, like, oh.
So that's like the worst. Yeah, that's the worst case thing that could happen, and it's very unlikely that it would happen, but it's a risk, and it's
Mm-hmm.
a really bad one. Now, eating maggots or maggot-infested food is much more likely to cause a bacterial poisoning, such as Salmonella or E. coli, and that's far more likely to happen, which is still pretty bad.
It's still pretty bad. Yeah. If E. coli is the least worst thing that could happen, it's not great.
No.
I'm thinking of the practice of eating live octopus or even recently deceased octopus. Your suckers could get at you.
Oh my god. I can't imagine wanting to do that because they're like gods.
They're gods?
Octopi, yeah.
Like what?
They're like the eldritch beings of the world.
Yeah, but like octopus is delicious.
Oh yeah, but I wouldn't eat it live. No.
Or live. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, fair. I just think that's really mean.
Yeah, the octopus would know what you're doing. I mean, any animal would probably know.
There's also the case of people getting I don't remember if it's octopus or squid spermatophores lodged in their mouth
What?
because they're trying to eat it and then like they kind of get stuck.
What's a spermatophore?
That like I can't really it was it's not like it's a common thing. I'm reading a news article for it. Yeah, okay. So yeah, the spermatophore is the sperm sac and she was eating a squid and the squid was dead, but uh the sperm sacs were still like active.
Oh my god.
So this woman got stabbed and then her tongue was inseminated.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
So she had to go and get that removed.
Her tongue?
No, the spermatophore. She did have to get her fucking tongue out.
I mean, at that point, I'd be like, it's fine.
She said, like, apparently it hurt a whole fucking lot, and then they're like, what the hell is this? And then, oh, wait.
Gotta do it.
Because she had eaten it parboiled, and, like, here's
Damn.
my favorite quote from this article. Despite that, she could feel many small, squirming white bug-like organisms penetrating her oral mucosa.
Nope.
So,
Mm-mm.
there's a lot of risks to eating a lot of foods.
Yeah, if you're going to consume an animal alive, you're going to incur some really weird risks.
Mm-hmm. Or even recently dead.
I prefer not eating things that are still alive. Recently dead, I'll take the risk, but also.
Other than those really bad things, some people can be allergic to maggots.
Oh, that's me.
That's not something that you want to learn.
I think it's probably never going to come up, but probably it's not ever going to come up. But yeah, you can be allergic to maggots. Certain types of larvae have been shown to cause respiratory and asthmatic symptoms in people who handled the larva to use as live fishing bait or who are occupationally exposed. Contact dermatitis has also been reported. So like rashes and stuff.
Man.
Don't eat maggots. Don't eat live maggots, people.
You like, are there recipes for maggots? Like,
I imagine there must be.
but how do you get that mud?
Maggots are not one of the commonly eaten insects in places where insects are eaten around the world. They're eaten, but they're not one of the more common ones because they incur risks, you know. Like earlier, mealworms and crickets and ants and things like that are much more common, but maggots are not so common. I did look around for recipes for maggots. I didn't really find so much.
Well, I think possibly that might be due to the fact that it's hard to cultivate them because you would have to have like something really stinky around, like the cheese or the rotting flesh. I mean, you need to have and at that point it's like proteins being broken down. It's probably better to eat a cow that's dead than to have maggots eat the cow that's dead. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like if a cow dies and, it's not from a sickness or anything, a heat stroke, You can cut it up and eat it rather than waiting around for maggots to eat it and then eating the maggots. Yeah, you probably get more protein from the cow.
When you Google recipes for eating maggots, it comes up with recipes, but they're from places like where people can enter their own recipes. So it's like places like, allrecipes.com, and I'm not looking for stuff like things that you have done in your backyard.
Mm-hmm.
That have no testing to them whatsoever, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Everybody has cooked these foods at home, I guess, but I want things that other people have field tested to make sure they're safe.
Mm-hmm. Like the yeast bread.
The yeast bread.
Speaking of field tested, I've been looking around to see other shit, and I've discovered that there's a brand of chips called illegal chips where you could get Kasumarzu flavored chips. Kasumarzu is the maggot cheese. And there's also horse meat and fugu. So, in case anybody wants to learn the flavor of these without actually physically eating the items.
And it's also got a picture of you at the bottom.
I know, I'm right there. It's me saying, "These are the flavors the government doesn't want you to try," by Illegal Al. And it's tempting. It's really actually tempting to purchase this because it doesn't actually contain any of the things.
Just has the flavor.
Apparently it's kosher and vegetarian, so.
Yep. Well, the horse meat one is vegan.
That's ironic.
Oh, the meat ones are just vegan. That's hilarious. I love it.
Excellent.
Oh, apparently they change flavors every now and then, so if you want these flavors, you better get them.
No, where can I buy this shit?
Okay, well, Emma's looking for that. If you want to safely eat maggots, you can try eating them dried, cooked, or powdered. I wouldn't suggest eating them live, I guess, unless you're Sardinian and you want to eat them in your cheese, where they have a long tradition of doing that. But otherwise, I would really suggest cooking them, because cooking them is going to get rid of the microbes and parasites and bacterial spores. That's how I would suggest eating them. And anyway, humans eat maggots over here in the US anyway. It's just that most people are not aware that we're eating them because the FDA allows for a certain number of maggots in our everyday foods.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
One or two aren't going to kill me. They probably aren't good. I don't know.
They're probably dead by the time they reach you. Or they've turned into flies.
Oh, yeah, get out of here. Get out of here.
Can I ask a dumb question?
Sure. That's what the podcast is for.
Literally the name of it, man.
I'm gonna ask if I can ask it anyway. So
Okay.
Are sardines from Sardinia?
They're from the ocean, Karen.
No, they're not. I think they're a freshwater fish.
What?
Sardines are named after Sardinia.
Sardines are named after Sardinia.
The small oily fish were once in abundance in the seas around the island of Sardinia.
So like the Mediterranean Sea? Where's Sardinia?
Sardinia is over sort of near Italy, I believe.
Yeah, the Mediterranean Sea. Okay, so it is a not freshwater fish, but it's also
Are found in different areas of the Pacific and Indian Oceans and are fished off western North and South America, Japan, Australia, and South Africa.
okay. Fine. So Sardinia comes up with some really they've got sardines. I guess they turned sardines into a thing, and now this cheese. So damn Sardinia, go home. You're drunk.
No,
They are home. That's their home.
they are.
Yeah, but they got to go home because they're drunk.
But Karen, they're drunk in their own home. It's not my lovely home. It's not my lovely wife.
Why do they sound Russian?
I can't do an Italian accent.
I feel like Sardinians would be very quick to tell you. It's not an Italian accent. It's a Sardinian accent. You twit.
Well, I can't do a Sardinian accent either because I've never heard a Sardinian never speak out loud before, except for a couple YouTube videos once when I watched them eat the cheese and they went, "Here's the cheese," and then I went, "Oh my god!" and they were speaking like a language.
Mm. Well, I have learned today. I'm glad that sardines also come from Sardinia, or the name at least.
You want to know how many maggots you're eating on a daily basis?
Sure, why not? Give it to me.
Not really.
Let's look back to the conversation of this podcast.
Just fuck me up, Remy. Fuck me up.
Okay, so if you normally eat cherries, like if you get brined and maraschino cherries, the FDA allows an average of 5% or more pieces of maggots in that jar of maraschino cherries.
Oh, pieces of maggots. Love that. So you get them sliced, pre-sliced maggots.
If you're getting fresh, canned, or frozen cherries, then 4% or more pieces of maggots can be in there.
Mm-hmm.
Citrus fruit juices can have 5 or more fly eggs per 250 milliliters, or 1 or more maggots per 250 milliliters.
Uh-huh.
Mushrooms, canned and dried, an average of over 20 or more maggots of any size per 100 grams of drained mushrooms and proportionate liquid, or 15 grams of dried mushrooms, or an average of 5 or more maggots 2 millimeters or longer per 100 grams.
Wow.
I don't like that.
And what I'm learning now is maggots are smaller in reality than inside of my brain.
Yeah, they're very tiny.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Canned tomatoes, you can have 5 or more fly eggs and 1 or more maggots per 500 grams. You can have 5 or more fly eggs and 1 or more maggots per 100 grams of tomato juice. You can have 15 fly eggs and 1 or more maggots per 100 grams of tomato paste.
I use all of these things, except for the cherries, but I use all of these things.
10 or more fly eggs and 1 maggot per 100 grams of tomato puree. So those are the things that maggots are allowed to be in per the FDA and how much it's allowed to be in there.
Damn.
So really, I practice entomophagy all the time.
So we're all just eating.
I'm good for the environment.
We probably don't even eat enough maggots to, like, it's probably like 2 or 3 maggots a day, maybe, depending.
It's like when you read the nutritional facts and it's like it's a negligible amount
Mm-hmm.
of sugar or salt or whatever.
Mm-hmm. It's probably even less than that, because they don't say maggots in the ingredients.
I mean, are they required to list maggots as if they're not putting it on purpose?
No.
No.
Oops, we accidentally got a fucking maggot in here. Don't worry, man. Don't worry. They're not going to change the fucking label. It just costs too much, man.
Well, there's only one in there, so.
It's just one.
Yeah.
And the FDA puts out a list of all the different insects that are allowed to be in your various food products and how much of that insect is allowed to be in that food product. So you can look it up on the FDA's website if you are curious about other insects that you are consuming in your everyday products that are not maggots.
Oh, how many giant water bugs are allowed to be in my food?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Oh.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Are you sure, Kane? You don't want... I could buy a whole bag of scorpion.
No, thank you.
It's only $20 to get a scorpion from in a bag and all jerkied up.
No, thank you.
Hmm.
I feel like scorpion is at least a little bit closer to a lobster, but still not close enough.
I'm getting a chocolate-covered scorpion just for us. Remy, when you come over next time, we'll have a fucking chocolate fucking scorpion.
I'd eat it.
I feel like those flavors don't complement each other.
Now, you wouldn't know. You've never had a scorpion.
But all right.
Don't worry, Karen.
But crunchy and chocolate? Scorpion's got...
You eat chocolate-covered nuts.
Bro, crunchy chocolate is amazing.
Oh yeah, chocolate-covered nuts. Damn, you're right. I wasn't thinking.
And have you ever had chocolate-covered potato chips? Because that is fucking delicious.
No, I haven't.
It's very hard to find nowadays, and it pissed me off. Do you have to remove the stinger before you eat it?
One way to find out.
Yeah, I would think so.
Because I'm seeing like they just put chocolate over the stinger.
Google how to eat scorpion. There's also littler scorpions than that. Little tiny ones.
This is a little guy that's a dime that I've just tried.
Oh, that's a dime? Oh.
That's a dime, bro.
Oh, I thought it was
This is like a finger-sized scorpion.
Mm-hmm.
How to prepare scorpions for...
Yes, you remove the stinger and the venom gland.
Where's the venom gland?
It's like right below the stinger, I think.
Oh.
Oh, so we just like get like 2 notches off the tail, maybe?
Yeah, I think it's in the big ball part of the tail. So we are all three a little bit grossed out about eating maggots, and that's fair because they are one of the grosser insects that you can eat. So scientists in 2019 speculated actually that maggots might be like an answer to feeding our growing population, actually.
They're so little. Can we just eat more popping corn?
So a woman named Lauren Terranau, I think is how you say her last name, is the president of a company that's based in Texas, where the larvae of black soldier flies are harvested and sold as food for exotic pets like lizards and birds and things. Her maggot farm, as she calls it, is part of an industry that is on the forefront of trying to use maggots to like revolutionize how we feed our population. Is how they talk about it. Because the black soldier fly larvas has a remarkable ability to transform any kind of organic waste that it eats, cafeteria refuse and manure and algae and things like that, into high quality protein, while leaving a much smaller carbon footprint than what was there beforehand. So when Karen, you were making the comment about like you probably get more protein from the cow, you might not actually be getting more protein from the cow like you think.
Huh.
You're getting more protein from what's already eaten the cow?
Yeah, so in 1 year, a single acre of black soldier fly larva can produce more protein than 3,000 acres of cattle or 130 acres of soybeans.
Well, how do they do that? They poop out the protein? I'm confused.
I will explain. So with yields like that is why scientists are thinking that maggots can work for our population, because they have predicted that our population is going to jump by like 30% up to 2050 to like 9 billion people. So the soldier fly larva being able to produce so much protein would be great for that. The United Nations is like warning us about our animal rich diet is not sustainable in the long term for that much population. So the researchers proposed using the black soldier fly larva to convert manure into protein back in the 1970s, but then they couldn't figure out how to raise the flies because they couldn't make the captive flies mate.
Oh.
Why won't you fuck?
They wouldn't perform. They have performance anxiety.
Oh my god. How? How do animals have performance anxiety?
You know, pandas have that too.
Well, you know, pandas are only really alive because we keep them alive. Same with koalas.
That's true, actually. It's just sad.
We're just like, oh my god, they're so cute. Please fuck. And then they're like, oh, I don't think so.
Why?
Come back in like 2 years.
I'll try again later.
Wow. I mean, I get it with like some animals, but like flies?
Yeah, so this was the 70s, and it took till 2002 for scientists to figure out how to make the flies mate. And it was by manipulating like a precise mixture of temperature, humidity, and lighting to stimulate them to breed with each other.
Wow.
So once they figured that out, it's been good. A black soldier fly larva can consume twice its weight in food each day. On its 14-day journey from hatchling to pupa, a single larva will grow nearly an inch long and increase its weight by a factor of 10,000. That's like an 8-pound baby growing to the size of a 40-ton humpback whale
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
in just 14 days. So
Jesus.
they binge eat to store up nutrients for their 2-week lifespan as adults when they typically don't eat anything at all. So this secondary company that these researchers made called Evo, which is in Texas, the larvae there feast on spent grains from a handful of distilleries. So they're just feasting on like waste grain from distilleries and breweries, as much as 15 tons of it each month, instead of that waste product just going like into the trash. The maggots are eating it.
Oh.
So Evo eliminates close to half of, so like this guy, Nathan Barkman of Rio Brazos Distillery, said Evo eliminates close to half of his company's weekly output of waste. Quote, it's hot, sopping wet, highly acidic, and sticky like lava, he said, making it difficult to dispose of. Local sanitation companies won't take it. Pig farmers sometimes will, but the closest farms are miles outside of town, and nobody wants to be driving molten grain mash that far. So the maggots eat it.
Sustainable.
That's great.
Yeah. Their ability to rapidly devour waste has inspired like a number of commercial applications. So a pilot program at Louisiana State University deploys a small little colony of soldier flies to consume food that the students toss out of the dining hall. The entomologist overseeing the project hopes that it will expand to eliminate all of the campus food waste by the end of the year that this like launched, which I think happened when COVID happened. So that has been put on hold.
Oh, damn it.
A damn shame.
In China, a huge facility over there, owned by a company called JM Green, process at least 50 tons of food waste a day with black soldier fly larvae.
Wow.
So using larvae to eliminate food waste at that scale would be like hugely ecologically beneficial. The UN reports detail how rotting food emits millions of tons of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, accounting for about 7% of the world's greenhouse gas emissions. But when maggots consume the food waste, they take all the carbon dioxide away with them.
Wow.
So
yeah,
what I'm hearing is, let's do it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we have to eat. Do we have to eat the?
Do we have to eat them?
We have to eat them.
Yeah. So,
or is that just like a suggestion?
So I think that the proposal is largely that the maggots will eat the waste, and then once they turn into flies, just eat them because it's like.
Oh, you eat the flies. How do you catch all the flies?
This is why we haven't done this yet. Is because first they wouldn't perform under pressure. The flies wouldn't, and then soldier fly farmers said that the larvae are mischievous. Quote.
What?
What? How?
What does it mean? What does it mean?
This is like a Disney movie. Like, what? Mischievous flies?
We have a Bart Simpson. It's like one of them just rides on a skateboard and shit. Like...
Can't catch me, losers. Sorry, that was a bad impression. But
so a wet grub can scale any surface from wood to glass.
What?
So growers have to maintain specific humidity levels to prevent them from getting damp, or they will escape their confines and then run amok. Quote.
Oh my God. Run amok.
I'm crying.
Yeah.
They just get out and they just fuck around. I'm gonna get to the other side of the wall, punk. See you in hell.
They're gonna have to make like diamond enclosures for these guys.
Oh, they could scale anything, man.
A group of dry larvae, if you leave them alone in an enclosure without food, they will just pile into a corner, World War Z style, until they're tall enough to allow the ones that are not in the pile to climb the pile and escape.
Oh my god, what the fuck? These sheets are crazy!
Oh my god, they fucking did. I would have thought they would have eaten each other first, but I guess not.
Teamwork makes
No.
the dream work.
No,
Oh
I
my
guess their
God.
initial response is to escape to find food. Yeah.
We'll just keep feeding them, I guess.
So the researchers said that to solve this problem, they piled wet mass in the center of the bins and then put a moat of dry material along the edges to prevent them from escaping because they can't stick to the dry stuff, I guess.
Oh.
This is amazing.
I have learned so much.
Yeah, my goal was to gross you out and then make you appreciate maggots.
Thank you. I want a t-shirt of a mischievous fly. Mischievous maggots.
Oh gosh. I'm a fan. Now we just
That's gonna be
need to make them palatable so we can eat them.
now we have to start the show every day. Hey, all you mischievous maggots out there, it's Carol Baskin. I'm so sorry. Oh my god, I love it.
So they had those two problems, and once they fixed those two problems, everything was good to go. Once the larvae reach the desired size, they are sifted out, weighed, and poured into plastic containers, and then shipped all over the country to other facilities that are dealing with this. One byproduct of the process it's called frass, and that's the scientific term for bug excrement. So the researchers say that they make tons and tons and tons of the stuff, which they pile up outside the facility, and then they donate it to landscapers to use as compost.
Oh.
Paying for bug shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, they donate it.
It's also how you find grass. It looks like little pepper.
Yeah, cockroaches too.
Cockroach shit is gross.
Mm-hmm. I will not be trying to make people enjoy any of those bugs. So, an acre of land used to raise soldier fly colonies can produce about 130,000 pounds of protein per year, according to the estimates by the scientists working on this. That's several orders of magnitude greater than the per acre protein yield of cattle, which is about 40 pounds, soybeans, which is about 940 pounds, or chickens, which is about 1,800 pounds. And this is just because of the weight of the larvae and the flies themselves once they reach like their final weight when they're done consuming all of that byproduct waste.
Damn.
Yeah. So they can make 1,000 folds more protein than just regular terrestrial animals and plants, according to these scientists from these companies who raise the soldier fly larvae, who use those larvae to make protein meal for like that can be consumed by humans. The yields are so high because soldier fly colonies can be stacked vertically, 5 to 10 per floor, in a way that isn't possible with cattle. Obviously, you can't stack cows.
No one's tried. Okay, Remy. Jeez.
I think they have.
What? And you can harvest the larva just like dozens and dozens and dozens of times because they die after, a couple of weeks.
Wow.
It's very sustainable.
Yeah, I was thinking that they would turn the larvae or the flies or whatever into some type of protein paste or powder, even like that could be put into something more palatable for humans.
Yeah. So the researchers just eat them. They apparently just eat them as is. It said they taste like Fritos, the flies.
The flies?
Yeah, it said that the flies taste like Fritos. They have a pleasant, neutral, nutty flavor to them that makes them taste a little bit like Fritos.
I don't like Fritos. Just gonna throw that out there. I don't like Fritos. I'm very like they can't stop the fucking the pop.
Yeah.
The pop. That's
Yeah.
that's my issue. The pop. Because I've had a waxworm before, and like I was like, oh, this tastes like peanuts, and then it popped, and then I was like, ugh.
Yeah, and also like it's hard to convince people that things that eat waste are good.
Mm-hmm.
Cows eat waste. So do dogs.
People in the U.S. consume insects nowadays is by putting them in protein powders and flour and things like that. In the U.S., we consume mealworms and crickets like more and more each year because we put them in cricket powder. Like, because like it was like way back at the beginning of the episode, and was like, I'm gonna buy these, cricket flour brownie mix, and then Karen, you who were just gagging about other insects, were like, yeah, I'd eat that.
Yeah. I mean, it makes more sense. It's broken down so much that it doesn't. You're not eating a bug. You're eating the byproduct of a bug. Not a byproduct,
Yeah.
but you're eating a broken down bug, which is,
It's what we're used to. It's what we already eat.
exactly.
You're still eating the bug, but you don't have to look at the bug in the same way that I don't go and eat a cow by looking it in the eyes while I'm eating it.
We're all sitting here like it's gross to eat a bug because you couldn't eat it like this, and then can't eat a cow like that. Sorry.
I have eaten a fish's face before, though.
Well, fish are different. Cows have such soulful eyes.
That's true.
You can't look into a cow and say, burgers. I mean, there are people who can, but also.
I think it's because they don't have all the little legs, but they do have all the little bones.
They do. And their eyes are dead.
I think they're also very soulful and scary.
It depends on the fish. Most fish that I look at, I'm like, you got nothing going on in there, buddy. But a shark? Damn. A shark has seen some shit.
Sharks are tired. I'd really appreciate if you don't make both of our dates worse.
Buddy, I'm just trying to swim. The shark says.
Yeah.
So about 2 billion people or so worldwide already include insects in their diets, according to the UN, as of about 2015 or so. So that number's probably gone up by now, you would think. Insect-based snacks are super common in open-air markets in like Thailand and China and other places in like Asia. And the practice is not caught on in Europe and the United States, in part because of cultural attitudes towards insects. And the scientists in the interview that I was reading said that they were puzzled by this because Westerners happily consume food such as crab and lobster, which are just giant sea bugs.
Yeah.
I have issues with them too. I don't like. Okay, I just. Okay, lobsters taste bad. They taste like what they eat, and what they eat is stuff on the floor.
Oh, disagree.
And they think they taste like. Disagree? What do they taste like to you?
They taste like lobster.
You know what lobster tastes like? It tastes like what it fucking eats.
I wonder if we taste like what we eat.
I've read before that we taste like a blend of lamb and beef. Pork.
According to cannibals, we taste like pork, but also according to other cannibals, it depends on what part of the world you're from.
The other white meat. Sorry.
I mean,
guess that's just pork. My dad always says that pig is the other white meat, and then I'm just thinking like, we taste like the other white meat. Unless you're not white, I guess.
Actually, all humans have the same kind of flesh.
Well, yes. Yeah, that's what makes me confused about it depends on where you're from. I guess it would because of your diet.
Yeah, because your diet, like, I don't know. I'm high in fat and cholesterol, and I probably have some amazing marbling. Just amazing. Like the fucking Wagyu beef of the human world. But ain't no one ever gonna try it, you know?
I hope not.
What a fucking waste! One day, someone out there is going to be like, oh, my God. I got
a walking steak.
I hope not.
That's how I
Yep.
want to go.
Sometimes. Oh no. No, you don't.
No, just to clarify, everybody, I'm not into vor. I'm not into it. It's a joke.
Yep. Some scientist somewhere asked a bunch of tribes, isolated tribes from various places who practiced cannibalism, what people tasted like, and they got different answers depending on where the tribes were located around the world. So apparently human meat tastes different depending on where you're at in the world, and also human meat tastes different if you have tattoos, according to Jeffrey Dahmer.
Well, what does he know?
He's a cannibal.
He's a well-known cannibal.
Yes, I know, but he's the worst.
Yes. Yes, he is. He is pretty awful.
I found out about how he died. That was pretty great.
Good.
So, yes, lobster tastes like what it eats. Humans apparently also taste like what we eat. To some degree.
So,
That makes me question, though, because depending on where if they're asking remote places that, don't have access to other types of food, would they wouldn't know if maybe there's a flavor that they weren't thinking of. I wonder if humanity all has one common flavor, but we have yet to discover it, so we'll never know.
Well, it's illegal to eat flesh. It's very ill-advised. Like, I don't remember what it was I was watching about the guy who was trying to devise something that could paired in flesh because he couldn't eat it. They wouldn't let him eat the biopsy flesh they took from him. So I think it would be very difficult.
Right. Sorry, this episode got very off track.
We're talking about sustainable food. I think we're on track, and I think it's sustainable to eat a human.
It is not.
Also, this tangent is like really dark, but also was on track with what we were talking about. So, which was eating insects, and then how insects and lobsters are kind of similar to each other, and then lobsters tasting like what they eat, and then also humans sort of tasting like what they eat.
Yes, unless they have tattoos.
What if lobsters had tattoos?
Nah, this tangent was on track.
Sorry.
You know what? I don't think that the ink could get down through their exoskeleton to their meat.
Ah, okay. So we need to eat a tattooed cow. Or a tattooed pig. Tattooed chicharron. I say it like a Filipino. I'm really sorry to our Hispanic people. Chicharron.
It's because you're a blend.
I am.
I don't know if Americans and Europeans will get past the stigma of eating insects, but yeah, like you said, Karen, I think that putting it in protein powders and stuff is probably what's going to get us to start doing it more, because people are already doing that. Like, there's already been like a big effort recently to put insect powders on the market, cricket flowers or mealworms for protein in ingredients for like pasta and cookies and chips and things are already out there and are already being consumed. And I think it'll just be done more and more and more. So yeah, I think that's how it's going to go.
Sweet. I mean, I don't mind that, but I'm sure there are a lot of people who do. So
we'll try it next time we get a chance. We'll try it.
And I'll tell you that I'm sure that cricket brownies are really not as bad as they sound.
They probably taste like just normal fucking brownies. Like,
yeah. I can't imagine that the cricket flavor does anything to the flour.
I mean, it's protein brownies.
Yeah.
So,
oh, protein. Ugh.
Your husband will probably really enjoy it.
Probably. He loves the taste of protein. I do not. I don't enjoy it.
There's certain protein things in protein powders that just taste like absolute fucking shit. But if it's chocolate flavor, it's usually good. But then again, I've had really bad chocolate flavored protein.
I mean, me too. So I don't like the flavor of protein, and I also don't like the flavor of electrolytes.
I like electrolyte flavor.
I wish that I did, because it's good for you.
I also like the taste of cough syrup, though, so.
Mm.
But then again, don't trust me. We literally talked about last episode, but I like pennies as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So maybe there's more, don't trust my ideas of taste. Just thinking about it.
Thank you for sharing this with us, Remy. This is a weird topic that ended up being very interesting.
Expanded quite a bit, and I like that.
Yes.
But thanks everybody for listening. We are very excited to take your questions too, because we want to hear them and we want to answer them, and we are so super qualified to answer questions. So what you can do is you could visit our website, which is whywouldyouskthat.com, and go to that little contact form, throw in a question, or you can email us at whywouldyouskthatpod@gmail.com. So please send us your questions. We don't care how weird it is, how gross it is. Just don't ask any personal questions. That's our one line. Ask your weird questions. That's what we want. So thank you for listening. This is M, Karen, and Remy, and ask us some shit. Thank you. Remember, eat thy neighbor.
Nope.
Nope.
Good night.